When video games first began, they were just pixels on a black screen. Nowadays, game developers can really make you feel like you are in the shoes of whatever character you are playing as. But some video games just poke fun at that by having the playable character look to the screen and speak to the player. Hello, and welcome to PixelBay. I'm your host, Derek, and without further ado, let's get into this countdown of 5 video games that broke the fourth wall. Number 5. Sonic the Hedgehog. When it comes to Sega, the first thing you probably think of is their titular blue hedgehog mascot, Sonic. Before he became what he is today, he was a valid competitor to Nintendo's mascot, Mario. While he may seem rather level-headed in the side-scrolling original games, if you leave the controller alone for too long without letting him go fast, he gets impatient. Sure, all he does at first is tap his foot, impatiently waiting for the player to let him be the blue blur once again, and he will then look at the screen and stare at you with a look of aggravation. Lead him on too much longer, and he will just get tired of it and jump off the map. And that, kids, is why you gotta go fast. Number 4. Conker's Bad Fur Day. Name one game that allows the player to take control of a squirrel with an alcohol problem. This game is on a whole new level of crass, and best of all, it knows it. One of the most popular scenes is in the last fight with a boss that looks eerily similar to the alien from Aliens. In the final part of the fight, just when the player was seemingly going to beat the boss came back. But then time freezes and Conker requests the game become a bit easier for his sake. Eventually, the developers agree and help Conker win the game. Number 3. The Matrix: Path of Neo. Some games are created as movie tie-ins to appease a small subset of people who feel like their favorite movie or TV show could make a good video game. This was the case with the famous Matrix films, which, while they had a different game at first, The Matrix: Path of Neo was what people really wanted. In the final level of the game, the player would see nothing but 2 chairs occupied by the mental projections of Andy and Larry Wachowski, the 2 siblings behind the groundbreaking films. They begin by congratulating you for making it to the final boss, and then explain how, instead of this really complicated and satisfying ending, they instead decided to make a giant final boss, a massive Mr. Smith. It was very random and unlike anything in the game previously. Number 2. Monkey's Island 1 and 2. Raise your hand if you remember the Monkey Island series. If you played that game, you'd know that it was riddled with humorous one-liners. In the first Monkey Island game, there was a pirate man with a button saying, "Ask me about Loom." Loom is another game created by LucasArts. The pirate would simply say, "Aye," to every question you asked him. That is, until you ask him about Loom, at which point he just doesn't shut up. But that's not the only fourth wall break in the Monkey Island series. In the sequel, LeChuck's Revenge, there is a phone attached to a tree. When interacting with the phone, you can call the LucasArts hint line. If you ask about a solution to a certain puzzle, the helpline mocks the player, saying how stupid you are for not being able to solve such a simple puzzle. Honorable mention: Deadpool. Deadpool is crass and ridiculously vulgar, so it's no surprise this game was rated M for mature, or PEGI 18 for our UK viewers. While Deadpool would be considered for a spot on this list, his mental instability and general attitude in all forms of media simply makes it hard. He loves to break the fourth wall and just openly proclaims he's part of a video game, comic, or whatever. Since just about his entire game broke the fourth wall from the get-go, it's hard to pick one scene, much less list off the fourth wall breaks. So he was picked for this honorable mention. Number 1. Tomb Raider 2. In this era of Lara Croft's career, she was a part of a lot of pervy nerds' fantasies. But in Tomb Raider 2, she had enough. After completing the game, the player was rewarded with a scene of Lara Croft in her bathroom, about to take a shower. After she sets down her gun, the camera scales up from her feet to her head. She then looks to the camera, says, "Don't you think you've seen enough?" grabs the gun, and shoots the player. The screen goes to black and the credits roll. I guess that's one way to end your game. Did you enjoy this video? If you did, remember to like this video, subscribe to PixelBay for more pop culture countdowns like this, and turn on that bell notification so you are the first to know when we upload.